So there's this hassle of landing your first job, especially in tech. Landing your first job means that you don't have any experience. So we know that most of these vacancies we see now, you'll be seeing stuff like 5 years plus of experience, 10 years plus of experience, and even in junior roles, you'll be seeing 2 to 3 years of experience. So how do you land a job if no company is ready to hire you and train you, especially as a beginner or someone transitioning from a different field into tech? I faced this hassle. It was actually a very big difficulty that I faced. In fact, that's one of my greatest challenge when I transitioned to tech. But I will share in this video how I was able to navigate through it. I'll share my experiences and what I did differently that reduced my stress and helped me to land my first role in tech. Okay, I applied to so many jobs, so many of them, and at some point I became tired, I became exhausted because after uni I landed a job which was not tech. At the time, I've not transitioned into tech. So when I finally transitioned into tech, landing my first job in tech was a hassle for me. I had to apply, and apply. In fact, sometimes I start applying even after going through the eligibility, seeing that I don't have 2 to 3 years of experience that are in the eligibility. I'll still apply. I'll be like, let me just apply. At that time, I was just applying. Like I want to apply to many jobs as I can because I at that point I felt like the more I apply to these jobs, the more my chances of getting hired. But I was wrong. These things did something to me. It made me to start losing hope. It makes me to start questioning if I'm actually making the right move by transitioning into tech because I was like, how can someone apply to 50, 100 jobs and you are not hired? Few of the times I land interviews and after the interview, nothing. So along the line, I now have to step back. I said, no, I know that I don't have the experience because even in the junior roles I was applying at the time, um I'll be saying 2 to 3 years of experience. Though few of them you see 0 to 2 years of experience, meaning that even if you don't have, they can consider you for an interview. So I have to step back and I was like, I have to look for a way to tackle this. Yes, I know that many people are actually experiencing the same thing, not being able to land the role because they don't have prior experience. But I also believe that there is a way out. The first thing I did was reducing the volume of my job application because I later realized that out of the 50 jobs I applied to, 30 of them do not exist. Yes, this might sound strange, but that is true. On LinkedIn, on Instagram, there are so many scammers roaming around. You go ahead and apply to these jobs, and at the end of the day, these jobs do not exist. So the first thing I want you to do is vet your jobs. When I say vet your jobs is when you see a job being posted, believe me that some of these jobs do not exist. Some of these companies are not real. So the first thing you need to do is copy the name of the company, research about them, go to their career page, track them both on LinkedIn, on Instagram, but more especially on LinkedIn. Check if these jobs are real, if these people are actually recruiting, and especially jobs that are not the companies that posted it themselves. Research about these jobs. Most of the times, these jobs do not exist. I just waste your time and apply. This makes you exhausted that you won't be able to apply to the real jobs. When I started doing this, I found out that most of the jobs I came across do not really exist. Or you can put a settings on your LinkedIn if you're actually applying or looking for vacancies on LinkedIn. You can actually do these settings on your LinkedIn for LinkedIn to actually recommend only vetted jobs. The jobs are linked already vetted that they really exist. Yes, the settings are there. You can do that or you can make these researches yourself. But simply make the researches yourself. Try to know about these companies. That's the first thing I did. And I noticed something again. This is my personal opinion and my personal observation. You must not believe it, or it might not work that way for you. But me personally, I observed something. Not really startups, but most of these new companies. When I say new companies, maybe companies have existed for like 0 to 5 years. Most of these companies are new, and most of them are in competitions. And some of them do not really have the time to recruit people with zero experience and start training them. Some of them want people that already have the experience so they can add value to their companies. But if you see these companies that have established, that are big, not necessarily big, but big is still there, that have existed for like 15, 20 years, a big and established companies, most of the time they give you chances. They give you the chance of recruiting you and to train you. So these are my personal observations. Research about these companies, not necessarily startups, because some startups, when I say startups, you know what is startups? They give chances sometimes, but some of these companies that are still between startup, they're no more startups and they're not really established that big. It's not really been long they've started. They don't give these opportunities sometimes. So that's why I said before you apply, vet your jobs. Just don't be applying, and be counting that I've applied to 20 jobs, I've applied to 50 jobs. In fact, some people will even tell you apply to 20 jobs daily. It's not about the number of jobs you apply to daily, it's about the quality and how well do you know these companies. That's it. Then the next thing I want you to do is internships. I can't stop emphasizing the need for internships, because if you've gone through internships, you see that internships, there you are not really studying a course there, unlike the courses you do on Udacity, Coursera, and the rest of them. It's not like that. Here you're working on projects, real world projects. So I'm emphasizing the need for you to do internships. And most of the companies now, yes, they don't pay for internships. They don't really budget for their interns. Most people hire people and tell them that this is unpaid internships. So if you are trying to land your first job and you do not get a paid internship, even if it's an unpaid internship that you get, I advise that you take the job. The reason is that when you do one, two, three internships, you stand chances of landing your first role without experience more than someone who has not done an internship. Yes, because when these people actually see that they've not gotten, maybe they have 10 vacancies and they've been able to recruit 3 in 3 months, and they need people to fill in that stage, the next place for them to go to is people that already do their internships, because they know that those people are better than someone who just finished the course, because people that have done internships has already worked on real world projects. And most of the time as an intern you work with experienced people who put you through, who corrects you, in fact who guide you throughout your internships. So these recruiters know that these people are still better than people who just finished a course. So if you're a beginner trying to land your first job, please take these points into consideration, and trust me, it will make your journey easier and it will help you land your first job very fast. So if you found this video helpful, do want to subscribe to my channel, like, and share to someone who might be searching for a job as a beginner. Until I see you next time, my name is Chioma, and bye.